and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to bring to you today, on 28th May 2020, an industry stalwart, extremely senior and reputed personality who has been a guiding force for the packaging industry for decades. Join me in welcoming Mr. Senguttuvan, CEO, Packaging and Printing Division, ITC Limited. Thank you so much for giving us the time today, sir. Really appreciate from all my colleagues' side. Sir, ITC is a very unique company which operates in all areas which have been impacted very highly by COVID, by this pandemic, whether it's flexible packaging, rigid packaging, labels, cigarettes, personal care, hotel industry. No one has the entire portfolio that ITC has. So no better person than you to share with us how this pandemic has impacted the different verticals. The question may be a little long, but you can answer the way you want to. What have been the issues that have been faced and how your group has kind of chartered the remedies and solutions, whether short-term or long-term, sir? I know it's a little long question, but you can take it as you want, vertical-wise, as you wish, sir.
Yeah. First of all, it is a major disaster in terms of a health issue. And therefore, whatever we do, the first priority is the health of our employees and the safety of our employees. When we got a SOC on 24th of March saying that everything will be shut down with a notice of 4 hours, so we didn't know what to do. So we declared a holiday on 25th. And by 25th afternoon, we kind of regrouped ourselves and picked up loose ends and said what we need to do. So from 26th onwards, we started back in operation. To begin with, for essential products, we need to convince our employees that we are taking care of all precautions, all safety aspects will be considered and taken care in the plant, and also their personal safety will be assured. So basis that, people have started reporting. We started out with about 30 to 35% employees coming in. And over a period of next week or 10 days, we had gone to 50% in terms of our operations. Currently, we are at about 80%. Over a period of time, things have improved. In the beginning, we had lots of issues with respect to logistics, with respect to certain raw material availability, because not all people have started in the beginning, particularly the smaller items, like the packaging items like CFC, score, pallets. These are the items we had problems to begin with, which got eventually ironed out, and we are at about 80%. In terms of consumption, the staples and essentials are at a much higher level than normal. And the other items like auto components, toys and luxury packaging items are much lower currently. Things like liquor and other industries are picking up, but they are not at full level yet. I guess the current trend will continue for some more time. And the demand for Q2, Q3 possibly depends on what happens to the economy itself. If everybody is talking about GDP degrowing by 5 to 7%, in which case we expect some impact for the packaging business as well, because the consumer demand will come down in that scenario. Although for staples and sanitizers and hygiene products, it will be on an elevated.
Sir, what we had done when the lockdown was announced, as you remember, all of us, including me, we quickly ran to the market and stocked. And we have been stocking our houses more than we really wanted, which actually showed a little bit rise in demand because people were stocking up. Then after that, the demand fell down a bit because people had already bought at higher levels more than they could consume. How would you see the consumer behavior going forward now as the lockdown has opened up partially?
I guess the stocking level will continue, and we will possibly buy our current requirements until the uncertainty is completely over. Only then people will kind of destock and go to a normal level. So as a result of that, the staples and hygiene products will continue to be on a higher level for the next few months. That's our anticipation.
Okay. So would you think, it's kind of come a full circle, because earlier we had bigger packages, bigger volumes, then we shifted to smaller packetizations. Would you think that the consumers will now prefer to buy bigger packs because they would not want to go out and, go for shopping too much, and the smaller packaging portions will reduce?
I don't think so, because while generically slightly larger packs, if somebody was buying 1 kilo, they may buy 2 kilo or 5 kilo, that is possible. But more in terms of quantity is what they will look at more. Instead of buying 1 kilo, say atta 1 kilo, now they may buy 5 kilo atta, but in same 1 kilo pack, 5 into 1 kilo. Okay, that is more likely.
Okay, so that means it will not impact the packaging volume. That is what because I come from the plastic industry.
Unlikely to be a major impact on this account. However, what is likely to happen is the institutional sale will be on the lower side and home consumption will be on the higher side. And therefore, the packaging in that respect, the requirement of packaging will go.
It will go up.
Yes.
Oh, that's good news for my industry, sir. So that's one good message that we are going to be giving to our industry. So when larger portions are actually, companies like you look at larger portions packaging, do they think about using more of rigid and semi-rigid and not flexible, or?
I don't think so, because most of these staples and these items are packed in, bought in flexible packaging, and that will continue to remain. More from cost angle also, from a pricing point of view also, this will be cheaper. So therefore, I don't see
and there is no limitation of high volume and bigger packs packaging from flexible. There is no limitation.
I don't think so. I don't think.
Okay. So in from the point of view of the consumers, for bigger packaging, if possible, if they want to buy, what steps would you be taking for increasing the shelf life of the products which are especially perishable?
Okay, with respect to shelf life, we have done a lot of work, not because of COVID, even otherwise in the earlier period. We have a new product which was launched just before the lockdown called Oxy-Block, which is basically a barrier laminate, which not only reduces the overall weight of the packaging, but also improves barrier significantly. So in that respect, we are ready with the product. As and when the demand comes up, we are in a state of readiness to roll it out.
You are already kind of taken the action even beforehand. It's come pretty handy at the right time now, I guess.
Sure.
Yeah. Sir, branding does incorporate important mandatory information, and the regulators had become pretty strict about that even before COVID. Do you think that the requirement of information that goes on the packaging for the customer will become more stringent and more detailed now? Will the requirement be higher now, more?
I don't think so, because all the informations that are required is already there in the packaging. So there's no additional information that may be called for at this stage.
So the government was encouraging the industry to go for single polymer packaging for easiness for recycling. How do you see the barrier properties getting affected due to this?
As I said earlier, we are ready with barrier laminate, which is addressing this aspect as well in terms of monopolymer. But I guess these things will get pushed by at least a year, because the current priority may not be, government may not prioritize this over availability and other cost consideration given the current situation.
Correct. So that means this positive boom for plastics image that COVID has brought, because plastics actually became the frontline warriors, so as to say, and saviors. This probably will kind of delay the SUP treatment that we were getting a little, so we'll get a breather for that.
I think it is more misunderstood, and rather than the reality of the plastic is bad. It is how possibly the industry has not done adequate work in terms of projecting itself, in terms of how actually this flexible packaging is superior in many respects. The real issue is in terms of the garbage on the street, post-consumer waste. Instead of addressing that, everybody said we must ban plastic. That is not a solution. And I'm sure people would have realized in the current context of the crisis, which is basically the packaging which has come to, particularly the plastic packaging which has come to its rescue. So I think it's an opportunity to communicate differently and say that how we need to deal with it as a citizen, as a society. How do we deal with our post-consumer waste instead of littering on the street? And if you see economies like Germany or Japan, where the consumption of plastics is very, very high compared to us, and yet you would see very clean city, very neat city. And I think the way forward is that, rather than banning plastics or doing anything.
Agreed, sir. I think this message will come to the industry that all of us have to come forward and take it from here. Um, is ITC planning to shift the format of distribution to the customers, shifting more to digital from retail? Are any kind of such decisions being made?
Yeah, these decisions, again, may not be related to only COVID, but yeah, some of these things will get accelerated, because the situation demands. And this may stay at an elevated level going forward. Once consumers are used to certain alternate distribution channels.
Correct. So it's got precipitated, so to say.
Absolutely. We have ourselves realized, even to reaching to our customers, we have now, how many of us are known these facilities like video conferencing, what we are using now. And all of us came to know within 24 hours, these are the facilities available, and we are able to do our work from home much more efficiently, much more effectively in certain respects than what we have done in the past. For example, to give a thing, in the initial stage, authorities have given varying degrees of approvals, 30% to 50% strength. What we have done is, even with 50% strength, we were able to produce much higher by keeping the non-essential staffs, which I call it as, they don't need to be working in the factory, like a commercial staff or sales staff. So they've been asked to work from home, and we have actually given priority to the software people. So in the process, we were able to produce more given a current constraint. And I believe the people productivity also has gone up, and they are able to spend time with their family on a higher level compared to earlier. No doubt there are some disadvantages which, meeting people face to face would add some advantages to the discussions and things like that. But given the current context, I think businesses have learned to live and learn to work more effectively and carrying on with the task in hand.
I think, yes, adaptability is something that everyone has kind of taken to and learned to live, accepted it, and then going forward with whatever is best possible. Agreed, sir. Is ITC considering some major technological changes in your manufacturing facilities, or we are just going QC?
You see, packaging is always on a higher end of, in terms of technology platforms. The packaging industry was always on a higher platform. Given that, current priority would be to service our customers and make sure that everything runs smoothly and taking care of our employees. Then, of course, we'll have to watch the emerging trend in the next few months or few quarters before we take any large investment decisions. Conserving cash would certainly be a priority for all businesses at this point in time. Given a liquidity constraints in the marketplace, we need to be a little sensitive to large capex investments at this point in time. We will certainly calibrate. So there be a demand, we will not hesitate to go for it.
Sir, well said. Everyone has become so beautifully accepting the cleanliness of the air and the beautiful environment that has been there. Of course, it's just for a little time before all of us get out together. I, being from the plastic industry, the question would you kind of shift a little bit from paper to plastics under the environment umbrella, so as to say, or the mix will remain the same?
I think the mix will remain the same broadly. Each one has its own place. They are not competing to, They are not competing to each other. They have a different space on their own, and they continue to grow. I think there is no contradiction between these.
Okay, they are mutually exclusive.
Absolutely.
Great.
I won't say mutually exclusive, but they have their own places, and there will be some areas where they can be bordering, but otherwise, yes, they are.
Sir, ITC has known to be, they kind of are extremely HR focused, and they take care of their teams in a way that becomes examples for other companies. Would there be a message for the industry on the HR front?
See, it's HR. What we are following is normal for us. We are not doing anything for the current situation. What we have been doing and continuing to do, our focus is long term. We look after our employees both in short term as well as in the medium and long term. For example, the migrant workers issue currently, none of our plants are affected, because we did not have those kind of employees in our facilities. We always had, we don't employ contract workmen in our manufacturing processes. So therefore, all our employees are available to us when the crisis hit upon. And just to quote an example, Ministry of Health has come up with a requirement of, for example, medical insurance for all employees. We had nothing to do with it because we always had them for the years, for a number of years. And therefore, these are certain things. If you take care of your employees, they will be with you. Our belief and philosophy is you take care of your employees and they will take care of the customer. We have about 200 odd staff members. I had spoken to each one personally.
Thank you very much, sir. I'm going to convey this message to the entire industry, and they will take a learning from that. We will come back to you probably in 2 months' time to see that where we are and what has changed, if anything has to be updated. Appreciate a lot, sir. And thank you again from all of us. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.